What's up, everyone? Good morning.
Morning.
Yo.
Morning, Higgsy.
Up.
Good morning, Andy.
G'day.
This is the first episode we're doing with no guest. So, we're just going to do a quick rundown on everyone who's involved in the business and tell the audience a little bit about us. So, do you want to tell everyone on the couch here and everyone watching how you got into the supercar scene?
I think you're either a Ford or a Holden man in that, back in those days. And we were, like my family were Holden. My grandfather was into Holden. And obviously that's just gone through the family. And my uncle had an involvement in a team, the Lansvale Smash Repairs team. So we used to get pit passes and go check out, what goes on behind the scenes. And I got to see the mechanics working on cars. I was like, man, this is really cool. And this is back when they had no mufflers and cars were loud and rowdy, and they'd literally drive through the crowd to get back on the track. And the smell of the old leaded race fuel, like I can still smell it now. Like that's that to me is racing. Like that was really cool.
Yeah,
I never thought I'd get into racing. I was like, I loved it, loved watching. But as I got older, school, I guess I wasn't the best student at school, which no surprise. But I was too busy thinking about cars and what I was going to do, and didn't really. I was smart enough to get by without really trying. So on the weekends I was at racetracks. I was in go-karts. Any opportunity to be at a track, I'd be there. And that sort of, when I left school, got into racing myself. I've went to school with Matt, and we had a couple of mates who were into traveling.
No wonder you didn't do real well at school.
I know, it's the bad influence over here.
He was a bad influence for sure. Yeah, so I left school. The boys, like my two good mates, Matt and Nick, decided to go to Canada for a couple of years to do some work and some travel. And I was sort of left here by myself. So I thought, well, I'm going to build a race car, and for, when the boys get back, we'll go racing and have a bit of fun. And I built, you probably can't see it on camera, but the blue car that's up on the hoist up there, that was the first car that I built myself. My dad and I built that in our shed from a completely stock road car that I bought for $900 to, $100,000+ drift car that I built. And just started competing in the Australian Pro Tour and got some pretty good sponsors on board. From there, the guy that was tuning the car at the time, Mick from Top RPM, he had a drag car. So I got heavily involved with that. And, that's a whole nother world. That's a very expensive sport. And the horsepower was incredible. I loved working on a 2,500 horsepower, 3-litre, 6-cylinder. I thought that was really cool. And then,
the car got binned, eh?
Yeah, unfortunately. Look, it wasn't really anyone's fault. The car blew a water line right across the finish line at like 220 mile an hour. And obviously the back tyres are spinning pretty quickly. The water got under it. And as those drag tyres spin, they get bigger. So it turned the car to the wall and rolled a couple times and ended up in the gravel trap. And pretty much the only thing that survived that crash was my GoPro and the Motec.
Wow.
So, there was like
Shout out to GoPro.
Yeah.
Share this video.
Yeah. So that was an expensive weekend, but I'm glad I didn't own the car. But anyway, I got into some racing with Mick, and Mick, bought a couple of go-karts. So I bought a go-kart and we started racing that. And with that came the business side of things for me. I was working for people at the time, not able to really afford to continue racing because I had a bad stint there where I blew up 3 motors in like 6 months, and I just started dating my now partner, Cara, and she couldn't understand why spending $90,000 on engines was a good idea. So I decided to park the car just to, so that relationship could continue.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a tough sell.
Yeah.
It's 30 grand. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good investment.
Yeah, she didn't quite understand why that was going to happen. So I stopped and then got into business. Cara was into business. She had her own interior design and floral company. So I knuckled down and I was working for a company for a while in the construction industry, just building up capital to start my own business. And I did that probably 2 or 3 years later. And then I think probably between now and then I probably had 15 different businesses. not all of them have been successful, but the ones that have are still running today. And that allowed me to do some traveling. So I went over to SEMA, which we'll touch on a little bit later. That's one of the biggest car shows in the world, where all the latest products in the industry are released. And I went there with Andrew Hawkins, a good mate of mine. He owns Motive DVD, which is now Motive TV. Out of Sydney, and we did SEMA show, and I was mind blown. And I said to my dad, because I went there with just my dad, I said, we need to come back here, and there's business to be done here for sure. So let's come back with a plan next year, and we did that, and got approached by a couple of different companies, and we decided to partner up with one and bringing their product back to Australia, and that was really successful, and it's basically business has just rolled on from there. Same model, just more refined and bigger dollars. So but yeah, we'll touch on a little bit about that later on. But that got me into some racing. That's where I jumped in one of the Lamborghinis. I don't know why I'm pointing. That's not a Lamborghini. That's the mum wagon.
So as fast as one though.
Yeah, faster. It depends. Maybe no. Actually, I don't know. She's close. Close to beating most Lambos.
It wouldn't beat the Super Trofeo though, would it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're not that quick in a straight line. They've got so much aero. But I had to run around in a Super Trofeo at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and I was like, I got out of that car, I'm like, holy moly, I'm hooked. I need to buy one of these, and I will. But yeah, that got me into the expensive side of cars, and I always had a passion for it, but I didn't think I'd have the ability to own one. I never really thought about it, but here we are. We've got a few things going on around the industry now. So
well, you got Detail Matters with Higgsy as well. So
that's
the good segue over to Higgsy.
The list of some of the brands.
That's it.
So
the line of businesses.
Anyway, so I got into business with Mr. Higgs with the Detail Matters brand. So let's talk about some of your business background.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you already mentioned, our background, our history together is way back from school. So that's how we know each other. As school finished, I did the whole uni stint and got about halfway through a uni degree before I thought, you know what, I want to get rid of the rat race. I don't like this already. So I parked up for a while and just went and got a standard job, just to save some coin, and then buggered off overseas for a little while, and really enjoyed traveling and working. I think that really broadens the mind, and the experiences that we learned from there was unreal, basically. After we came back to Oz, was when the drift car was done, actually. So I got to see it when he first got it as a $900 car that he was rolling around the street. And then
I've had a few of those too.
I came back and saw it to the machine that it is today. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. So I was still in the point there where I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do with life. So I chopped and changed between a couple of different jobs, and then I got caught up in the aviation scene. So found a really big passion for that. Studied for that, and went and worked as a commercial pilot for a couple of years. But once again, I was back to the same point where I started, thinking like I don't really like the rat race, and don't really like reporting to people. I really like working for myself. Along those pathways, I've also had a couple of little businesses that didn't really take off, side hustles. But they're all...
That's the essential grind too, right?
You have to do that.
You learn so much stuff in those opportunities, in those failures. Like
they're life lessons, not failures, Ian.
100%. Yeah, that's what I was leading into.
Please pump my ego up a little bit.
Don't worry. My list is bigger than yours, I think.
That's fine. But I think you literally just nailed it on the head. You need to go and do that grind and find out what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, you got to try different shit.
Otherwise, you've hit the lotto if you try and get something that goes bang first go, and you're a multi-million-dollar company after that. So as I was finishing up my flying career, I came back to the Goldie. I'd actually had all intents and purposes of growing my license and putting it to the next level. And I'd signed up to some courses, but they kept getting postponed. And I thought, well, I can't keep going on like this. It's just going to send me broke, hanging around waiting for a course to start. So started up Detail Matters as a little side hustle. And that was just sort of feeding the kitty for a little while. And then all of a sudden COVID came along and shut down the world. So I just saw aviation just go.
Yeah, spiraled to the bottom.
And I was like, well, that's definitely not an industry that I want to be in anymore.
Yeah.
So I was sort of glad that the courses that I was involved in or I'd applied for were getting postponed due to lack of interest and numbers to do the courses. So because COVID shone a new light on that, and I thought, no, definitely not going to go and do that. And pretty much a few months after that, teamed up with Mr. Becquet here and said, right, I've got a good thing going. We need to scale it.
Yeah.
And
now it's franchises, eh?
That's it. Got some franchises going on, and other than that, it's opened up the doors for me, particularly to be able to be in the circle of people I wouldn't normally get to hang out with.
Yeah. Because your clientele's like a lot of top tier.
Absolutely. Like these are a lot of entrepreneurs, wealthy businessmen and women, and I get to see them every single day.
Yeah.
So you get to sort of rub shoulders with them. We get invited to events. We get to go and hang out with these type of people at car shows. And from there, you're like, okay, what other doors are opening up? And well, as the helmet shows you, we've got half a dozen of them. So
yeah, exactly. And it's about that circle too, eh? Like everyone that you see online that's like posting motivational or business or like entrepreneurial content always talks about like, if you're in that circle of people who's constantly talking about money and opportunities and businesses and stuff like that, you just get upskilled so
100%.
quick, you know what I mean?
And I think one of the other things that really helps with that is the impromptu, the drive that you've set up.
Yeah.
Which is cool because once again, you see all these guys that are just top tier people. Wouldn't normally, get the opportunity to see them, but they come here, they hang out now, we have a couple of drinks, we talk about what they do for work, talk about their supercars, and it just broadens the mind.
Yeah, everyone just vibing on the same level of conversation, hey, like all have something in common that we can talk about and all like on a similar level.
It's crazy, even like the differences in businesses. Like, some of my businesses are completely different to some of the guys that we meet, but the same principles still apply.
Yeah.
We've all learned basically the same lessons in different ways. So to be able to talk to people like that and learn lessons without having to pay for them, that's the key.
Oh, yeah.
Like how many lessons have we learned? We're like, oh man, that just cost us like 10, 20 grand.
Yeah.
But like if you can talk to someone before it happens and say, hey, this is a situation, what do you think? And then, the amount of times that saved me money. Like I've got a business mentor, a good friend of mine, and I've listened to 99% of the advice he's given me, and the few times that I haven't, I've basically done the wrong thing. I thought I was right, and I'm not too scared to admit to that, but I thought I was like he did business back in the day, and he was might
have been old school.
Yeah,
or something,
old school sort of mindset. That doesn't necessarily work today. So I think I'm right in this situation, and bam, bit me in the bum. I'm wrong. I go back to the pub and catch up with him and tell him straight. I went against what
he just winks at you.
Yeah,
told you.
Yeah, you had your stubborn pants on.
But you know what? Like that's in business. People aren't like that. I went up to him. I said, "Mate, I'm sorry. I went against your advice and it bit me in the ass and here we are having this conversation. I should have listened to you." And he goes, "That's all right." He goes, "Sometimes you just need to learn yourself, and that's all good." Just,
part of the process, eh?
That is just keep pushing forward. So that's the fun of business, hey? You never know what's around the corner. But let's talk about some of your business background.
Yeah, it's pretty colourful history.
All right, I'm interested now. Here we go.
So I was sort of into cars like ever since I was really young, and my mum sort of instilled like a value in me that was like anything's possible and that I can achieve whatever I want as long as I want it enough and take the action towards getting it. And I remember like always having cars up on my wall and stuff, and they're always Ferrari and Lamborghini,
Yeah, the Countach.
Yeah. all of those cars, yeah. And just fantasizing about it all the time, really. And then I was always into cars, and like I was like pretty intelligent sort of person. Like I didn't really apply myself at school that much at all, and I got a pretty good OP like graduation score. So I think I could have like gone to university and done those things, but I just wasn't really interested, wanted to work with my hands more.
Yep.
And was like a bit of a creative sort of person, like building cars and stuff. And so I got into like the automotive scene I did my apprenticeship actually at Toowoomba Holden, which was
another Holden fan.
Big time, HSVs and all those things. Yeah, oh man, like that was like the ultimate car when I was working there, and I used to shout out to Adrian Harding, the guy that he was like my mechanical coach. I don't know if he listens to this, but he does follow me on Instagram. But he was the HSV tech. It was like the elite society of HSV techs at Toowoomba. And he used to work on and he had like really good relationships with the owners as well. And that's probably where I learned like a lot of business things, because like he would bring clients in because of his relationship with them through motorsport and going to QR and those things. And they would come there to get their vehicle serviced. And we used to work on all the stuff like the new Monaro, the new shape Monaro GTOs and GTS Commodores and Club Sports and R8s and all of that stuff. But then I sort of went from there, did my apprenticeship, and didn't really like the pay, like as a car mechanic, like severely underpaid. So I was like, I need to sort of level up somehow. So then I went to like selling cars and then selling top tier cars like BMWs and Range Rovers, and I was a car salesman for a few years. And then I was like, got to get into business somehow. Like, what am I going to do? I got to get into business. So I started this website. It was called Cap Culture. And I won't give you the full list of businesses that I've done. I'll bore everyone. Everyone will switch off. But I started this. There's a couple of colourful experiences there. But I started this business called Cap Culture. It was a website that sold like hats, and there were a lot of like all the American brands that you couldn't buy in Australia, similar to like Culture Kings, the stuff that they do. It's a lot of like American culture streetwear, and it was like starting to get successful. We got some like shares from like some of the Broncos bought some of our stuff. That guy that went on to WWE, I can't remember his name, but he bought some of our stuff and shared it on social media. And then I employed this guy as a manager. And this is like a lesson that I learned really early on, was like I employed this dude as a manager, no contracts, no paperwork, all word of mouth. Hey, come on, sell some products for me. Like, I'm busy, I'm working FIFO as well, and I can't really manage the business. He comes on, starts selling the product, but the money's not hitting the account. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? He's all my stock's going out, but there's no money coming in. He's like, oh yeah, they're friends in Brisbane and it's cash deals and you'll get the money in. Rah, rah. Anyway, that business, went into a spiral, and ended up failing. And then like business after business after business, had a little bit of success. It's just doing this trend line of like learning a bit and then working it out and then changing and pivoting and learning a bit more. And then eventually I was sort of like, only a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, I was like, I want to try and get back to like things that I really like doing, because like, you go through your 30s and like you might lose your way a little bit and you try and like chasing money or you're chasing lifestyle and you don't really know what you're doing. And I was like, I want to try and get back to my roots, and I love cars and I just want to dive straight into that. And then I bought the R8 that's behind us. And I was like, how can I monetize this? Like, this is a cool car. It draws a lot of attention. How can I monetize it? And then I just started looking at the rentals, and then I went to Rachel's event, which was awesome. The Exotics and Espresso, and I was like, well, this is a real community. Like, there's people here and there's money circulating and there's people like buying and selling things. Like, I want to get involved with that. So, and that sort of led me into the rentals, and now we've got the Range Rover there. I don't know if the camera can see it, and we've got a Mustang GT, and we've got a Lamborghini Huracan that we do some bookings for as well. And then in the Sunset Run now, and then working with you guys on that. That me like sort of like going, you know what, like screw it, I'm just going to go back to what I really know that I enjoy. That was like the best decision for me, because like now I'm doing all this and I love it, like I'm not trying to sell cars and do things that I don't really like, or sell real estate or do this or do that. I'm actually doing stuff that I love. So
yeah, you got to enjoy it. I know a lot of people say it's got to be your passion and this and that, but I don't necessarily think it does. I think you've just got to have some sort of interest in it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to wake up. Like, I wake up every morning and can't wait to get out the door to come here and start playing with the stuff that we play with. And
Yeah, exactly. And you can niche it down too. Like
Good
you can
boy.
sort of find passion in stuff. Like selling real estate as like a broad topic, I wasn't passionate about that, but I was passionate about, you know, having an impact on people and making them like helping them find a property that they like and have a good lifestyle. Like I liked that when I was selling real estate. But if you find something that you love a lot of aspects of, like I love in the car scene, I love that there's such a strong community and everyone's just like cool with each other. I love that it's like relaxed and it's not like super formal and like everyone's wearing suits and like being super professional, you know what I mean? I love how chill the car scene is. And yeah, if you find something that you can just like enjoy a lot of different aspects of, it's so much easier to have the consistency that's required to be successful.
yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to open your eyes up a little bit more too, heading to SEMA later on this year. I think you've never been before, hey?
No, I've never been, no. I've seen a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Looks off
Well, I'm first timer as well, mate.
Yeah, nice.
Been
SEMA
to
virginity.
Vegas, never been to SEMA, so you and I will be seeing things for the first time, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got quite a bit planned. SEMA's a big week.
Yeah.
So we're going to head over a couple of days before SEMA starts and go see the NHRA drag finals in Vegas, which is unreal. The racing over there is like next level. Here they tend to blow up every second round. Over there, they're neck and neck all the way to the start-finish line. And so that's going to be cool. And then into Vegas, we've got a couple of days of just chilling, checking out some stuff. I might go do a chopper run over Hoover Dam, something like that. But yeah, so like the opportunities that arise in the SEMA show are unbelievable. Like especially when you've got a good reputation in Australia. There's a lot of businesses in Australia that aren't that good to work with. Being polite.
Yep.
And when you're known over there to be honest and you know you do what you say you're going to do and do a good job of it, you know you get approached flat out. Like I've got a list of companies that at me, you know, monthly that just when you're coming over, we really want to work with you, and it's about you know picking what works for you. So it's going to be interesting to see what pops up. There's a lot of talent walking around. Like I've met Jay Leno a couple of times now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, there's some pretty big celebs.
Ken Block.
Ken Block, yep. Rub shoulders with him. And Hayley Deegan, the NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
Which is Brian Deegan's daughter.
Yeah,
He's a legend, and seen them around. And yeah, it's crazy. Like because it's not open to the public, the celebrities just tend to be, you know, at ease. They're just walking around like normal people. They're not getting hassled.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And
Yeah, it's like gated community kind of thing, eh?
yeah. So they're you know, you can literally walk up to Ken Block and say, you know, g'day.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Saw your last video.
Yeah. Yeah. So that aspect of it's really cool. And then the business side, you know, like seeing all the new products released, that's where every company that's big will save their releases for. So there's new technology. Like a couple of standouts for me was an Australian company actually, TurboSmart. Last time we were there, they released the electronic wastegate, which probably doesn't sound that interesting to you guys, but like what that does for the industry for anything turbocharged is just massive. In terms of tunability and stuff, and that's where they released
and
it.
Precision as well, probably.
Yeah, the precision and I don't know. I just sort of nerded out a little bit about that, but it's really cool to see an Aussie company, that works year round to release a product, takes it to SEMA in America and releases it to the world, and it blows up. That's really cool. So there's so many different brands, so many different areas in the automotive industry that do that. Like Squadra Bespoke, our guys that wrap all of our vehicles, they're going over this year with us as well. And there's half a hall, and when I say a hall, I'm talking like the size of the Gold Coast Convention Centre, dedicated to just rap films.
Wow.
So, like the technology in that, they have live demos, like they have some of the famous guys on YouTube jumping in and they're doing live raps. Like it's just so cool. We'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
Done.
Done deal. Bang, bang.
See you, team.
See you later.
Catch up.